We're going live.
Oh, no.
Hey, welcome to Toll for Talks. Today I'm going to talk to a real live human being, a creator, comic book artist, writer, publisher, collector, big collector, and live streamer, YouTuber. Much more experience than I have, and you should check his channel out. It's very cool. He, promotes his book, promotes other folks' books. One of my favorite
Every
parts is
day.
when he goes through his collection and we get to see all the cool stuff he's accumulated over the years. There's a good one.
Yeah, this is UK. I've got a few UK ones down here.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find out. Another thing I like is I think we're roughly the same age. So some of the weird stuff from the late 70s, 80s that he knows about, I usually it either rings a bell or I don't know.
Hey, Tree Goblin.
It's good stuff. Hey, Tree Goblin's here. Is this? Oh, cool. Okay. All right, man. It looks like you've got a project. It's on Fund My Comic.
I do indeed.
And it's doing pretty well, I think.
It's in demand. Yeah, I think we're up to $3,145.
Yeah, and you can still get over there. And so what? Okay, so it's in demand, right?
Yeah, they don't really have an in demand. It's called storefront, but that's basically their in demand where it goes to a storefront. They want it. You can put a project after it's run at 60 days and crowdfunded into storefront, or you can just put like a second chance for your book, or like a combination. I've noticed some people will put issue 1 and issue 2 into a trade paperback so people can get caught up and put it in storefront there.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like passive income after you get that product in hand.
Can you should we take a look at the? I guess
Sure.
we should put that up.
I can share screen and control that, or you can bring it up. It doesn't matter.
Why don't you do it?
Okay, let me find it over on Fund My Comic, because I didn't have. Well, no, actually, I do have it brought up.
I have it here too, but
usually I have a screen with it up there. Usually keep that up there just to check on it during the day from time to time. Okay, I'm sharing screen. There we go. Expertly done, my friend. And then I have control over it. See? Shall we play the trailer?
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It looks really good. I like and okay, so the cover art is by
is
that
the main
Yeah.
Whoops, wait a minute. There we go. Sorry about that. I was getting an echo. So which one are we talking about? This one here?
Yeah.
The main cover? That's done by cover A. That's done by John Dillard. And then we have a cover B, which is sort of the Golden Age cover, done by John Falandes. there in the blue and gray outfit. And then we have a wraparound cover, which are going to be dropping here pretty soon with Jimmy Reyes. And then we also have a blank cover here on the right there, for you that like to draw. And then we have an artist edition, which will be like this with the red logo and the black and white. It'll be a hardback with additional material, at least 12 pages of additional material, maybe more. I know the digital will have 12 or more pages in it.
Kind of looks like Dillard brought his A game to this one.
Oh yeah. He asked me, I said, I've made a decision. One day I said, I'm going to Epic or I'm going to go home. And he said, well, behind the scenes after I streamed one day, he said, well, what do you consider an epic cover? And I said, and I looked down here and I had an old Adam book from the Golden Age. And I said, well, the burst through cover, would be great. That would work really well for sort of an inaugural, first time book. And so he came up with Devil Flyer here flying, bursting through the cover. And I said, well, why don't we singe the edges? He did this armored up character here. That's kind of a full for Devil Flyer. He will be in the next issue. And here's our next stretch goal. This is done by George Peter Gaddis. My first Western character, Midnight. That's going to be made into a trading card if we reach our next stretch goal.
So is Midnight going to be a future project, or does she appear in Devil Flyer?
She will appear in this issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it may only be a cameo, but there's going to be a lot of characters. This is not just introducing Devil Flyer. It's introducing like Bystander here, Modern Day Mummy, Bog. Just this cover alone here, counting Devil Flyer, it's got 14 different characters on it. And all these characters and more will be featured in the book, at least on cameo spots. Now, how can I do that? It'll be in the Bystander, who's pictured here in sort of this fractured reality type piece that I had John do. This will be featured in his story.
So you've kind of already put together a universe, and it's all going to be, we're going to get a good look at what's.
Yeah, like the two-page Inner Man story that John Dillard's drawing. It is directly linked with the dialogue up with the Devil Flyer story. So those two stories are already connected. This will be the John Dillard also did this typewriter piece for me. That'll be the content page. So that'll be on the inside front cover, except with the different stories. Grave Tales is one. We got 6 a.m. sticker here. We've already unlocked this trading card. We got a zigzag magnet. Some of you got the ultra rare cards, and there was a sign up card. It's all been about the books pretty much. Even though I have a tapestry and a standee, a digital copy, it's all pretty much about the books.
Yeah, and I backed. I haven't backed. Is it too like if I back now? Sorry, I kind of like I said the other day. I've really spaced off everything going on in comics. But do the people that signed up now at this point still get the stickers and everything?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you get the tchotchkes. It's still in demand.
Because I didn't dig it out, but I've got I know you're going to come through because I did back your
ash can
earlier, and that came with a lot of good bookmarks and just like some really nice black and white art.
Magnets.
So, and yes,
Yeah, we got the magnets, and this is how I know that these are really good quality magnets because I really got some good feedback on these. That they're pretty heavy duty. They stick to whatever you put them on, and everybody liked the magnets. Of course, you can thank Amanda B for that. She loves magnets, and
I think,
Eric and Boyd said I like that design, so we made 3 bookmarks. We did that all on the down end. I took my tax money and made all that stuff for free for everybody at the end of
yeah.
the
And so, I mean, if you're
mhm.
gonna, if you want to check this book out, you don't have to worry about it not, not getting a copy because I have the utmost faith in Rex, and I can
And I'm
speak
not
from
the one
experience.
fulfilling it this time. I did the first one, 60 something orders, I guess, by myself. It took me about 6 days, and I was
Yeah.
kind of lagging on that. I could have done it quicker, but I've fulfilled a lot of orders over there on eBay. I've been on eBay for about 20 years, um, and what else? Oh, this time though, it's going to be Critical Blast. RJ is going to fulfill it, so it's going to get fulfilled as long as I get. In fact, he and George are going to help me uh, with some of the printing of some of it. Like I would have never tackled a hardback without. They've done hardbacks, so they know how to get it together. Plus,
Oh,
price it out, weight wise, so that you
mhm.
don't take a bath on it.
Okay. So you've got the fulfilling taken care of. You
Yeah.
have some good characters, but like,
Mhm.
okay, Devil Flyer. Can you tell me a little bit about what was going on in your mind? I mean, when you came up with Devil Flyer, or like kind of what was the inspiration for Devil Flyer?
Sure. Devil Flyer was kind of a mashup character. He's kind of got like a devil's tail. He's got a pitchfork. He's got a wings, and that kind of all suggested the name Devil Flyer to me after I created him. I usually sit down and I create. I don't think I did this with Devil Flyer. I probably started with the head and
Yeah.
created the helmet. But I with him, I actually drew him completely out. Kept adding stuff, as far as his costume. Usually, if I can create a character's head, I will extrapolate from there. That's the way I did with Bog and most of my characters. There, there's an exception to the rule every now and then, like Silver Boa. I heard on the radio that they'd found that out on Conception Island, which is down in the Bahamas, a new breed of silver boa constrictor. And I said, Silver Boa, man, I got to create a character to go with that name and
Oh, for
copyright that
sure.
name
Yeah.
because that's just too good a name. So I created this retro looking, silver, all silver uh, character uh, to the name. Sometimes the visuals suggest the name, like in Devil Flyer's case, and sometimes the name can inform the character. It works both ways, but most of the time I will create the character, then I will come up with the name and powers and things like that.
So is
I
this
just
some kind
wanted
of
to,
angelic being, or can you tell us? I mean, like the
well,
wings and the
my
devil. So is this a satanic comic book?
no, no, you were asking me, well, I mean, that's a valid question. And I would say that it's probably the age group is probably 8 to 9 years old on up.
Okay.
So it's very PC. Yeah, there is that devil, angelic, demonic element, right? To
Yeah.
his look, with his name. But what was you asked me earlier what my thinking was? My thinking was like a character. I wanted to create a character that was kind of like Spawn like, with
Yeah.
kind of like magic, but not magical. I don't know how you describe Spawn's, powers, because I had really envisioned him not with the flame powers. Now with the John Dillard piece here, it's obviously the flame, which I listened to the fans on that, and I wanted to make sure that I got him portrayed that way because I always got some blowback about, well, why is he not red and blah blah blah. So I
Hmm.
leaned into that. And I think that was a good thing. I can have the best of both worlds because he was going to go through different changes of his powers and costumes over time anyway. So, as you can see here in this watercolor done by the artist who drew the Devil Flyer 28-page story, John Falandes, who I've known for over 40 years and is a great designer in his own right. And he's a big comic book fan. You can see the Spawn like Eldritch energy in this version. And there's just certain elements in this character. Like I say, he's kind of a mashup character visually. But my two inspirations mostly for him were Spawn and Doctor Strange, believe it or not, trying to interject a more mystical, not necessarily magical, but more mystical element into my characters.
Kind of a character that operates between different realities and realms and
right. And yet I'm big stickler. I am a Christian, so I'm big stickler on sticking with a universe and not a multiverse. And I can understand the multiverse and time travel and other elements like that can be crutches for writers. And so I do have time travel in this, but I think I have a good enough explanation for it. Basically, I do a big Jin Saki. I circle back. Things that you see in issue 1, you will see in issue 6 later on down the line, and you'll go, oh, that's why that happened. So I try and set up the dominoes so that after it's all said and done, you'll see the bigger picture that I'm painting. And it starts basically, he's kind of brought back Faustian type character, Faustian like contract, where he's brought back to serve evil, yet he inherently does not want to serve evil. So for every good deed he does, he has to sort of remove this safety guard, this safeguard for the world with this trapped evil from ancient times, been trapped for millennium. And he's removing the firewalls that protect Earth. So through his serving as a hero in the world, he's actually slowly bringing about the world closer to destruction. So
wow,
he has to figure out a way to prevent that. So in all his getting, he meets this hero, that hero, this person, that person, and he kind of draws them all together into a super team to battle what he knows is coming.
Okay. That's where
the connection with the different stories come in, where he meets Inner Man, where he meets Bog, where he meets Sea Demon, where he meets Lady of the Night,
Well, yeah, I like that there's a little bit of complication. I mean, he's not just saving the world. There's other things, connected to that.
Yeah, and there'll be sub stories too. I've got a vampire sub story arc that's going to go through that. So as they get together as a group, they're going to be attacked. In fact, I've got a shadow group. It kind of runs like James Bond's Spectre. And here's a picture right there on the right of him, the director. And usually you don't see his face at all. I just had Doc Blaylock draw this piece to put sort of, and this is based on a real scumbag that really lived. And so, but usually you just see his shadow on the wall, but he's part of like a shadow ornament, and I'm building rogues gallery with all these heroes. So he's primarily an Inner Man character, but really he messes with everybody, because he's got his hands into this Black Ops shadow type thing, right? And Cy Marco, who Devil Flyer goes up against, who's a a head of the one of the Chicago mafia groups. He's calling the director on the phone in the story a couple of times and trying to get a hold of the director. You don't know who the director is till you read the story that comes directly after that. And then that's explained in the 2-page John Dillard drawn Inner Man story, where he talks about it more in depth about the director and all that. So by reading the Inner Man story, you get what happened earlier in the Devil Flyer story, what was going on. You just thought he could have been calling up Hollywood and said, "Get me the director." You didn't know, you know. It's all going to eventually tie together into one big story arc. And one thing we're going to do is eliminate a story per issue. Issue 1 will have 6 stories, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 till Devil Flyer, the climax, makes it his own story.
Okay, and then Doc Blaylock is doing. Is it the Bog story?
He did a couple years ago. Yes, he did the Gravetail story. He did the tapestry artwork here for Bog. This is the original acrylic that's up for sale, and then, but it's made into a black light tapestry, which will be kind of nylon. There it is on the right, and you can kind of see, you can get drawn into the book, which will be in the bystander story that's being worked on now. And he also, so this is John Philandes artwork here for the Devil Flyer story. And then we have Doc Blaylock. I think this is my favorite story.
Okay.
And there's the bystander. The bystander will have his own 9-page story, but he's also makes a brief appearance and summons up Bog here in the Gravetail story. And this is some additional artwork that's done by a bystander and one of bystander's villains, kind of a split there of him there in the middle, top middle. And then there's the vampire. People are going to go nuts over the vampire story. There's Slaver, and then the killer clown that's also in there, clown killer, as I like to call him. Yeah, here's the 6 a.m. sticker, done after John Dillard's, and I'm probably going to commission him to do another one here pretty soon. I couldn't get him for a year. He was just too busy. And then he put it up right after we launched, and I had him do it. And I just said, you know, most people use that as a stretch goal. I'm just going to give it to you for free. So you get that. If you signed up, you get a card. You get this card. You get the zigzag magnet done by Rob Ewing. He's another person I'm working with. And then the George Peter Gaddis will be the next stretch goal. That's for Field. And that's that midnight will be made into a trading card.
So will the interiors be all black and white?
That's a good question. No, they will not. They will not be. The Devil Flyer story, 28-page story, will be all in black and white, just like you see it here on the campaign. With the Inner Man story, that'll be in black and white. The Gravetail story will be spot colored. The clown will be the only thing that's in color. So yes, what you're seeing here, the gray toning, the black and white, that's what you'll see in the book. But the balloons and the clown will be the only thing in color till the last page. We're using that as a story device to tell the story. And then we have a 2-page story that I'll probably add that's done by Hockey, that he did a couple years for me. And that introduces the character of Dirty Joe. Dirty Joe is like one of those in-between characters, you know, sort of impish. He's not really good, not really bad. He's more mischievous than anything. He's think of Spawn, though, as a ghost or a wraith. And there's a 2-page story of him. And the only thing colored with that is his eyes. The rest is in black and white and grayscale. So most of it's going to be in black and white, but there will be hints of color.
Okay. Was it hard to find a printer that could do that? The black and white with the color?
No, because basically they count that if there's any color in it whatsoever, they count it as a color book, even
Right.
though, and it just makes their job easier that most of it is in black and white, really.
Ah, okay. Cool.
And I have a suggestion while I remember for your book. Now, you said you had 2 issues completed and a third in the works, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how I would do that, and I've seen other people do this, and I think this would really drum up interest in your project. Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay. Release the first 2 together, because it's like Amanda B said, we just want, because I had first proposed this, I'd already released, like you said, my hash cam. And I said, well, how about this? If I release in the next 2 months 2 more books, and then that way you get the complete Devil Flyer story. In the first one, you got 7 pages. You would get more in the second and more in the third, and then that would complete the story in 3 ash cans. And Amanda said, we just want a story. So I said, all right, scrap that. We'll put it all in one book, and that's what this is here.
So would each issue be its own
Self-contained,
or put them all together in one fundraiser?
Oh yeah. If you were like I'm suggesting for yours, yes, you could do issue 1 and 2 together. You could also sell them separate on the campaign.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you might want to do digital, you might not, but you could put them, if they want to try before they buy and just buy issue 1, put that as an option, or you can do a 2-pack and maybe save them $5 or something.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to have at least 3 issues ready.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a lot of people, they get all bent out of shape about waiting for a book.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good.
And I guess I was kind of like that way, maybe the first one that I backed. And then I realized,
it takes me a while. I mean, even with Devil Flyer, it's taken me a couple of years to work out the best way that I can see to tell this story, and really develop this story.
Yeah.
The way, and make it more than what I initially was going to go for, and make it even a better experience for people. And because it's not just about one character to me, it's about all these characters and launching a Marvel or DC like universe, where you can tell any type of story you want: horror, romance, war, hero, whatever. You can tell that all in one book, and that's what I hope to do with this. This first issue, you'll see some horror, and the backup stories kind of do that. But with your own, I've seen some people do issue 1 and 2 together, and I'm like, that's brilliant, because people are getting more. And I don't know what I forget what your page count is, but often they'll do 2 issues and it comes up to 1 issue, which is 48 pages. Or I would say that's probably the minimum for crowdfunders. But now I've seen people do less and charge less and do really well.
Yeah. Okay. In the black and I really enjoy black and white comics, and I love black and white artwork. I think I like it sometimes more than work that's been painted or colored.
Right.
Is that kind of why you went with black and white?
There's a lot of people like Shadowhawk, like Smoking Right, like yourself, that like the black and white. And then you can see, like in this piece, grayscale, whether it's there or not. There's not really any in Doc Blaylock's story. There's more grayscale, in the Devil Flyer story, it's just more you know, it was always meant to be black and white, so that he doesn't really use grayscale. It's just all in black and white. So what you see here is what you're going to get, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to, I think I need at least one color piece for my campaign. So I might be hitting you up for the names of a colorist. I've been trying to do it myself and I just don't seem to have.
What now are you talking about for a cover?
Yeah, like for a cover or
Yeah.
like the printer I went with, even if you do a black and white book, you still get cover front and back pages.
Yeah.
So there's like 4 pages where a guy could have color, and I just need to find
Now on your project, Topher, how many issues is it going to take to tell the story that you want to tell?
622
Okay.
ish page
Okay.
books.
Okay.
That's what it is
So,
right now.
so what I would do,
Actually, it's 5 right now, but I'm sure that once I start drawing those last 3 issues,
okay.
it
So
seems
see,
like
that
that's
would
how it
work
goes.
out. That would work out good for you. Release the first 2 while you're getting that you've already got done. And while you're running the campaign, work on 3 and 4. Then when you finish 3 and 4, release them as a set. And then the climax of 5 and 6 together. Release them that way. That means 3 campaigns instead of 6 campaigns. Believe me, you'll thank me later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
fulfilling doesn't sound, I mean, it sounds kinda,
and
it's not
and the
necessarily the kind of thing you can put a movie on and just mindlessly
And the
do it.
great thing is that you can do 2 covers. You know, they're getting more because I mean the cover's where it's at. You got to have a cover that sells, you know, and it's a valid question. John kind of blew me out of the. I said I'm going to go big. I'm going to go epic, and I kind of got an epiphany that day. And I said if I'm going to either go big or go home, so that impressed him enough. He was like, "Well, what would you call and what would you want as a cover like that?" And he really did me a favor. And together we came up with this, you know, and not only the traditional burst through cover, I said, well, he's kind of fire related. Can we have it singeing the edges with embers? It's good to work with artists that know what they're doing, Topher. You know, this
Yeah.
guy knows what he's doing. And from this piece here, I could tell, although I already had confidence in him, that from the helmet here, he's very specific. You know, when he works with you, he's like, is this metal? Is this a mask? Is this a helmet? He wants to know these things. You know, it may be the first time you're asked some of these things. And from him doing this metal helmet, I knew the next commission piece, this armor, he could do that and make it look like metal because he had already done that cover for me. So it's a learning process. The more you work with an artist, no matter how good they are, you know. And he
Well, I've
said,
always liked Dillard's work, but I think he really, that cover is one of the nicest Dillard pieces that's out
"Oh, I
there.
think so too. I think that's why it's had the success that it does. I think he knocked it out of the park, and plus, it shows that he can do a variety of characters, you know, and make it look good, you know. Um, and that's all Dillard needs. He needs good material to work with. You know, you can be the best actor in the world, but you got to get the right script, right?
Hey, okay, so the idea with these little interviews, I thought I'd keep them about half an hour.
Sure.
So I think we went a little over, but so one more question to end it. What's the last comic that you read that you really enjoyed?
Oh God. What was the last comic I read? Period. Um,
Is there anything? Yeah, I mean, just it doesn't have to be the last one, but just something.
well, the last one I can remember reading, and I think I've read something since then. was Jason Bascom's Absolute 2. He had Absolute 1 and 2, and now he's got a couple of other projects, one of them related to
Okay.
Absolute. But
Maybe that's a
yeah,
bad question to ask creators, because I know once you get started on one of these projects, like most of my reading time is now drawing time.
yeah. I mean, once you're doing, you know, your own comic, it does cut down on your reading. And then I have a dog that's very needy. She's always, I need to take more time to read, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily have to be. I mean, I'm just trying to think, when was the last time I sat and read, which is pretty sad, to tell you the truth.
Well, I don't know if I'd be reading anything really, except I kept hearing about how cool Terry and the Pirates was. And so I finally got a book of the complete dailies, one of the volumes. And that's nice because you can read, you can read 1, you can read 2, I can read 5 or 6 pages.
Well, wrench me, Topher, and I'll drop if you'll wrench me. I don't know if you know how to do that.
I don't think I know how to do that.
Okay, you have to go through YouTube, not StreamYard. So you have to bring up YouTube and and I can give you here. I can copy, because I've been on the YouTube. I'll put it in the private chat. So there's the link to your YouTube. And if you click on this YouTube broadcast, it'll take you there, and you can take one of my comments, and I'll show you how to do that, how you can moderate.
Okay. Should we call the live stream good? And then we'll mess with that.
Sure. We can do that, but make sure you bring up YouTube first and can see the chat.
I've got it up.
Okay. Well,
okay. Well, hey, thanks for being the first creator on my show here, Rex. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have you thought up a name of what you're going to call it? Creator's Corner or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Topher talks to people.
There you go. That's brilliant.
To humans like me.
Topher's book coming soon.
Okay. All right. Bye, YouTube, or wherever.
Thanks, Tree Golem, for coming in. Appreciate you.